Welcome back, campers, to Total Drama Island. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and yeah, we are here. We are back with Total Drama Island 2023 Season 2. This has actually been out for a bit now, and I just haven't gotten to it. Mostly out of just lack of time in my schedule. I've had other stuff I wanted to get to first, but now with Hilda going on a little mid-season break, because, we left that off at a really good mid-season finale that kind of warrants a break. I truly feel like this is the right time to bring this in. So, little funny addition here. I was trying to decide between this and another show as for what was going to replace Has Been Hotel. And so I looked, I got some help from someone, and the other show was chosen. And yet this one ends up being the first one to be gotten to on the channel. I just feel there's a kind of like hilarious irony in that. Um, this wasn't as planned though, and that's the thing. Has Been Hotel being taken over by the other show is the plan. This, however, this kind of came up because it's like, oh, we're gonna just suddenly take a break from Hilda, something I really wasn't planning on doing because the mid-season finale episode was just the perfect point to take a break. I just needed to take advantage of that. So I just needed to find something to put in there, and this just felt like the best next choice. It just happened to be a week earlier than Has Been Hotel's replacement would start. um, so it just worked out like that. And for those wondering as well as to like why I take these breaks and all, for anyone who might be newer to the channel or might not have heard me talk about it, it's not only to avoid burnout on the shows, because certain shows, if I don't take a break on, I can get burned out on them and lose interest, which will, cause me to probably drop it. So if I take a break, it allows me to refresh myself and come back into, in this case, like with Hilda, the second half of the season with a fresh mind. But there's other reasons that I take breaks too sometimes. And with season 2 of Hilda, the reason actually wasn't because of possible burnout. It was because that episode felt so perfectly fitting as a mid-season finale that, like I said, I kind of felt like I needed to take a break from it. And the reason why is because I don't believe in binging shows, and I only binge shows if it's like necessary to avoid spoilers, or on the really rare occasion that I just can't stop watching. But that's pretty rare for me. I don't like binging shows because I feel like it hurts the overall feeling of the viewing experience. I believe that waiting a week or so between episodes is actually important to the viewing experience and actually allows you to fully like absorb all the information and the true like vibes of the series as it progresses. If you just binge through it, you're gonna forget about it in a week. It's not going to stick with you as much. The retention rate is hurt when you binge through a show. But if you watch it week by week, it sticks with you. It gives you time to absorb it into your brain. Gives you time to really like hook into it. And I prefer that as a viewing experience. In my opinion, it makes the shows mean more to me. And so I also like to sometimes take even longer breaks than just like a week between episodes. Sometimes having a break like for weeks or even a month or two really builds up that hype and excitement for more. It makes you so invested to want to see more, so that when you do get back to it, it really hooks you in and it really like just grabs at you in the right way. And that's what I'm doing for Hilda. That the episode I left off on with Hilda was, it felt like a mid-season finale. It felt like it was this big episode that bridges the gap between the first and the second half of season 2. And so it's like pausing my reactions there, putting it on hold and taking a break. It's going to allow me to stew in everything that first half of the season set up, so that when I get to the payoffs in the second half of the season, it's going to just be that much more impactful, because my mind will have been waiting on it, stewing on it, like grasping for it. That's why I take these breaks. And I feel like it overall improves my reactions, overall improves my experience watching. I understand that from the perspective of you guys as a viewer, it might be, a little annoying. It's like you want to see me get that content out quick, 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 snap, snap. It's probably due to, let's be honest, attention rates at this point. People want that instant gratification. They don't want to have to wait. And I understand that I'm not really in the majority on my opinions here. But I feel like, again, this also gives a better viewing experience for me as the reactor. And I want to give you guys the best reactions I can. In order to do that, I do have to have the best viewing experience that I can. They go hand in hand. So if you guys want me to have the best reactions I can to any given series, I'm going to have to take these breaks every now and again. And some shows I might not have to. Some shows I might just be so into it that I don't end up needing a break. Like for season 1 of Dr. Stone. I haven't taken a break on that, despite there being points where I could have, because I haven't needed to take a break. I felt like I've just been like go, go, go on that series. And then for like shorter shows as well, it's like if the show is short enough, you just don't need a break. Like a 10 episode show like Has Been Hotel, you don't need a break for that. It's just 10 episodes. And plus, Has Been Hotel is one of those shows that I was like really into, so I wouldn't have taken a break anyway. But it does depend on the series, and a lot of shows that are like 12, 13, or even 24 or so episodes, or even longer, I a lot of times do need to take a break on. So with Hilda, I just think it was the right thing to do. It was exactly the right time. And again, I wasn't planning on it. It just happened based on how that episode went down. But that's enough of explanations regarding that. I just wanted to get all of that out to let you guys know exactly why this was coming, for anyone who might be wondering, and why we took a break on Hilda. Let's get back to Total Drama. So last time we got the first season, which was its own its own season of the in-series show, Total Drama Island, and we got our winner and everything. We got just the entire go through, and so this season, it seems like it's doing what it did in the original. This is kind of a soft reboot of the original Total Drama Island, so it makes sense. They're bringing back the core cast, the same core cast from last time, and they're just doing it again. Obviously, challenges and stuff are going to be different, but we just don't know how. And I don't know if there's going to be any new characters brought into this one. I think it's the same characters, the same like campers, but I'm not 100% on that. I know that at least most of them return. I just don't know if there's any new ones after that. Now I also do know that this is gonna finish out the original order, because the order for this reboot, uh, quote unquote, it's technically a continuation. Again, soft reboot. Um, of this series was like, what was it, 24, 26 episodes, something like that, both of these seasons basically. And so I don't think that it's been renewed for anything after that. At least I haven't heard of anything. And the thing is, you also have to take into account that this series I don't think has officially aired in North America at all. And that means the US, that means Canada. I don't think it has, which is really weird, and I don't know why, because it's a Canadian program. But for some reason it's aired in Italy. The first season like came out in Italy, and though it was in English, the language on like the title and everything during the opening was in Italian. But the actual speaking was all in English. And I assume it's going to be the same for this season. Because I have still not heard anything about it coming out in North America. And that just baffles me. I don't know if there's a reason for that. I don't know if there's some like issue that caused that. But that's wild. Now, if pretty much all of the cast from last time are returning, we already know who my favorites and least favorites are. That could possibly shift a little in this season. But we'll see. I have also, since I originally reacted to season one, I have seen the season again, like I think twice. I think I watched it on my own one time, and then I watched it with my sister. So I have seen it again. And so my thoughts have like shifted maybe a little bit more than they were in the original reactions. Um, we'll take it as it goes and express everything. My favorite character is still Lauren, Scary Girl. Absolutely. But there's a lot of characters I do like, a lot of characters that my opinions shift on as I watch. Um, it's especially, I can't remember all the names, but the one girl who's like, oh, I hate this guy. I broke up with my boyfriend because he was a terrible piece of shit, and I realized that. But then in the end ends up getting back together with him because she falls for his bullshit, and it's like, girl, no, girl. Mm. I hate that. It's like Harley Quinn. It just annoys me. But I think it's about time we get to this. I think I've wasted enough time talking here, though most of these pre-thoughts have been talking about Hilda, to be fair. Um, but let's get into this. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. If after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised really at all. I'm just disappointed. It's like, if she hadn't said anything there, the results would have obviously been different, but it's just, I don't know why it came down to her and Bowie, though. It's like Bowie didn't lose it for them. It's just Nichelle ended up, like, surprising everyone and winning it for the other team. Like, you can't blame that on Bowie. That's not his fault in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's just like, this has kind of always been a thing with this franchise. They don't usually let these kind of characters win And it's honestly surprising that the Goths in in oh my goodness. Uh I can't think of what the name of the series is with the teams. I reacted to it and I can't think of the specific name. I keep thinking World Tour, but that's not it. Total Drama Goths. Redonkulous Race. The Goths from Redonkulous Race got a lot further than I expected them to. Just because it's like, again, these kind of characters, like, they never win. And it sucks the Scary Girl went pretty early last season, but then she also goes, like, first this season? It's like, that's just. You could let. Even if she's not going to win, you could let her last a little longer. I understand the joke, like she was trying to be normal and ended up kind of being almost creepier because of that. But it just feels like it's a waste of a good character. You know what I mean? Like even outside of just the fact that I really love her character and that she's just an absolute joy to watch for me, it's like she's such a unique character compared to everyone else in this. And it feels like she's just wasted. Like she just doesn't get the time to shine. I don't know. It feels like they could have just given her more time here. I'm just disappointed by it. Um, Plus, I feel like there's just others who honestly would have made more sense to get rid of here. It's like, honestly, his name is escaping me right now. The dude in the red hoodie who's a, total tool. When he ran ahead like that, just ignoring the entire red light, green light aspect of the challenge and getting himself taken out, it's like he actively hurt the team there. He was an active, like, he was honestly the most active issue that came up with their team. By doing that, he just sabotaged them. He should have been in the bottom too. Like Bowie being there made no sense. Again, Bowie didn't actually do anything wrong. Nichelle just came out of nowhere with her new skills. That's not on Bowie. But this other guy, it's just like he was actually, basically sabotaging the team by doing that. He should have been voted off. I understand sometimes some of these votes aren't going to make sense. That's just how it always works, but still. But onto the positives of this. Pretty much everything else about this first episode of the season was a positive. Just the new teams being Ratface and Skunkbutt is kind of hilarious. I like the entire picking the teams idea as well. I think that was a smart way to do it instead of just having their teams assigned to them. It gives it a different feel. And it also makes for some interesting strategies and vibes between teammates and whatnot. And I'm interested to see how they develop that throughout the season. I also just think that the humor, the character writing and everything is just as on par as it has been. I mean, there's really no issue there. And of course, you have to acknowledge the big elephant in the room. This was just Squid Game. If you haven't seen Squid Game, and if you even somehow even more don't even know what it is, I have no idea how you're living under that rock. But let me just explain. So Squid Game is a Korean drama series that satirizes capitalism, government control, and a lot of other themes and ideas about, how people are taken advantage of by systems that are just naturally against them. And in the very first episode, and honestly the most iconic imagery from the series, is the red light green light game. Um, it involves the contestants in Squid Game going to the island after agreeing to be part of it, and they're brought into this area. I guess you could say a room works. The sky is above them, but all the like landscape around them is just paintings on a wall, which is simulated here with the walls around them being simulated, showing landscape and everything. And they play a game of red light, green light, and it's just the same. You have to cross over the line when while only moving while the this robotic character in the series. I don't remember what it's called. It actually does have a name though, but I can't remember it. But when it's facing away during, green light. And if you're caught moving when it turns around, the contestants in Squid Game, they get shot and killed. And like this episode even like captures a bunch of them being taken out at once, which happened in the episode of Squid Game, because after the first person is shot and killed, basically everybody just starts fucking panicking and is taken out en masse. So I like that they even simulated that here. But instead of having like the robotic character, you have Chef's grandma, who is a all-star women's baseball pitcher, which, by the way, is amazing in and of itself. But then you see her literally flex out of her sleeve with cartoonishly huge muscles, and it's like, I'm sold. I am all for this. Chef's grandma is a badass motherfucker. It's like, absolutely love her. It's just like that shit is definitely my kind of humor, and also just my kind of badassery. I love that. And on top of the big Squid Game reference, I'm still wondering if the paint being that specific kind of shade of pink is a reference to Danganronpa. If you don't know what this is, this I will give you a little more leeway on than Squid Game. But Danganronpa is a Japanese visual novel, series of visual novels, that was also made into anime shows. And it's basically a murder mystery that centers around a bunch of gifted students being trapped in a school by a psychopathic bear, a stuffed bear. It's weird Japanese anime stuff. But while different characters start getting killed, everybody else has to figure out who did it, and and the killer gets punished accordingly, via death, if that wasn't clear. But all of the blood in that series is a very specific shade of like this bright purplish pink, and it's a censorship thing. It's a censorship because of the blood otherwise being red would be somehow seen as like more violent than just by changing the color of the blood to pink. Somehow that makes it less violent, I guess. I don't know. It really doesn't, by the way, but censorship ideas. But yeah, it became an iconic piece of imagery, iconography for the series. The bright, vibrant pink blood is part of Danganronpa. It's what makes it unique. And so the fact that the balloons were the paint in the balloons were supposed to be red, definitely simulating blood, because that's just Chris. But instead, it was changed to that, again, very specific shade of like this bright, vibrant, purplish pink. It's like, that can't be unintentional, right? That has to be a Danganronpa reference. It has to be. Hell, you could even make an argument that was with Lauren trying to be normal, she's emulating the main villain of Danganronpa. I'm not going to say the name because that's basically the biggest spoiler of Danganronpa. But she's emulating the main villain, who is, disguising themselves as a normal person, a normal member of the group. So it's like, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it kind of feels like it was. Right? Oh my gosh. And Lauren being the first to be eliminated fits in with that too. Wait a minute. I think that might be intentional, which means Lauren might come back. Sorry if I'm kind of like spoiling a little bit there on Danganronpa. It's old at this point. It's past the statute of limitations for spoilers. Um, I'm trying to just be nice about it, but oh my gosh, it might be a reference, like Lauren and the blood stuff. I'm gonna hold out hope that that's a reference and Lauren's gonna come back. If we get some kind of stuffed bear at any point in this, I am going to lose my mind. um, if this is just a straight up reference to Danganronpa, that is going to be the most unexpected reference ever. Like, more unexpected than Squid Game. For those of you who know Danganronpa and know what I'm talking about, please tell me I'm not the only one who sees this. Please tell me I'm not crazy here. I'm just like in shock by how well this feels like it works out. Um, but going back to the focus here. With the teams and everything, again, I think I like uh Bowie's team, which are the Skunk Butts, I believe, right? Yeah. I think I like them a little bit more. Just because I think they have more of my favorites on them, though they did just eliminate Lauren. So that does put a damper on that. So I think it definitely evened out a little more at the end. Um, but things could also change because there's a lot of campers who were eliminated really early on last time who we didn't get to really know enough about. And honestly, Caleb is a wild card. He was the first eliminated in season one. I have no fucking clue what I'm going to think of him as a character. Because he had like almost no screen time and lines in season one. He already has had more in this season. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm going to think of him yet. So far, if I'm just basing it off of this episode, I like him. He seems nice. He definitely wants to make it further, wants to win, which fair. And he's thinking about strategic stuff, but he's not mean so far. Nichelle had a good, strong start here. She was another one who was eliminated very early on last time. She had a very strong start, showing that she has grown a lot, especially in terms of her physical abilities, which is going to be very valuable. Axel is pretty much the same. She was another one that was eliminated really early last time. She's pretty much the same. Not really any big changes with her. I'm very curious as to how this is going to go. Because I think things are going to be pretty different this time. For a lot of reasons. And I'm very curious. But one thing I noticed that definitely was the same from the first season is that this just went by way too damn fast. that was a thing with Redonkulous Race as well. The episodes just fly by. I think I said this in another video recently. In fact, it might have been the last Hilda reaction, when I was talking about, like, bringing this back in. But this series, just this franchise in general, when I reacted to Redonkulous Race, and then season 1, and now season 2 of TDI 2023, has just been proven to be one of the most genuinely fun shows to react to, specifically. It is so actively fun as a reaction series. Not just watching, but specifically reacting to. And it always goes by so quick. It is just so damn quick. I really wish I hadn't seen any of this. I kind of wish I could go back to the beginning and watch through this again blind and react to this again blind. But I'm glad that there is at least a season of the classic show I could do, and now 2 seasons of the new soft reboots. Because it's like, just getting to share this with you guys is just so much fun. It is so actively fun. And I'm having a blast just already. I'm so happy that this that I get to bring this back again, that we're reacting to this. And I hope that we get more seasons. Because despite the weird release shit going on with this, and despite changes from the original series, like Chris having a new VA and whatnot, this is just as good as the originals, and in some ways better. And it's just so cool to see that this series can just persistently push out just all of this quality and make it so actively fun to react to. Like, don't get me wrong, there's other shows that I've reacted to that I have had a blast reacting to. Has Been Hotel being a big one. But this is just one of those shows that is just in a kind of another level, you know? It is just very specifically, I am so happy I reacted to it rather than watched it on my own time. It elevates the series to me. And that's just fantastic. So, yeah, I really can't wait for more, but we are going to wait for more, because especially with a show like this, I do not want to binge this. I do not want to go through this too quickly. I want to really enjoy this. And so, let me know your thoughts on this first episode. Obviously, no spoilers to the future episodes of the season. Just your thoughts on this single first episode. And let me know what you thought of the references and possible references that were in this episode as well. The Squid Game one was very on the nose. Like, even if Danganronpa isn't an intentional reference, the Squid Game one is blatantly intentional. That, like, there's no question to that. That is, it's just like, you can't see it any other way. You really can't. But, like I said, let me hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.